And that's wonderful because that kind of tied into the misconception portion we touched on. Because, me, I have a strong religious background as a child growing up throughout my whole life, my early life. And that misconception, besides like the control aspect, it was always like this open aspect where like you're in such a vulnerable state that it could be like this danger, this concern that something could be allowed in or you could get tainted. We hear like the Akashic records and all these different things that we have to be careful of ourselves from like other penetrating forces that we don't know. But this tool, it sounds so much more simpler and beneficial to the person themselves because it's literally a tool that's just shifting you into another level of your higher self.
That's right. And so I hear what you're saying, and also I don't like totally disagree in a sense. So I do believe personally that you can go too far too fast. So for example, if you are not, if you have never had any experience controlling the level of your consciousness or tuning your level of consciousness, then if you find yourself in some other level of consciousness, like by accident or something, it can be extremely disorienting, and then you're going to have a lot of trouble integrating that and understanding it later. So it can be a problem if it's not done responsibly.
In the sense of overwhelmingness, a lot of
weight, and it doesn't like connect to the knowledge base you already have. So one of the nice things about using hypnosis this way is that you're never going to go further than you're ready to go. So it's sort of, it's like...
because you know yourself.
It's self-regulating, in that way. And something interesting that I see, and that I've also experienced myself, is that as you use this technique more, you get better at it. So you get better at mastering your own consciousness so that you can tune it without the help of a practitioner or a facilitator. So you begin to be able to do it on your own.
Which is wonderful. It's like other modalities put in practice, like your wiring gets used to it.
That's right. And so the pathways are set in your own consciousness. You know how to get there. So if you have had a hypnosis session where you found yourself in a healing place, you remember what that felt like. You remember what happened there, and you can use the memory of that experience, both in your mind but also somatically, what it felt like in your body when you were there, to tune your consciousness back. And it takes the same two things. Your body has to be in a state of total relaxation, and your ego has to be in a state of allowing. And if you can achieve that by yourself, then you can use these tools on your own. You don't need that's what I mean, is if I'm doing my job right, people only need to see me once, because then they find the places they want to explore, or they have actually developed the tools that they need to tune their own consciousness to do this work on their own. So that's kind of the goal, is to populate the world with people that have mastered their own consciousness so that they can develop, so that they can grow, so that they can work on their stuff when it's convenient for them, or you know what I mean? So that we don't develop a codependent relationship of like healer and client where it's like, I can't do this without you. I want to empower all of my clients so that, I do have some clients come back, but it's actually very few of them, because the goal is that eventually they become the channel. So they don't need me to tell them how to do it. They're with me learning how to do it. It's because they want to explore and they want to get better at it. Yes, it's because they want to get better at it. That's right. And because they want to be better people. So it's like I have a blind spot, and I know I have a blind spot. So like help me with that, so you can like see deeper within yourself. It can be a really good mirror to help you find like, what is the actual issue here? Is it them? Is it me? Is it something that happened that I forgot about? Like hypnosis can access those things.
Okay.
And what I love about this is that, some people worry that hypnosis is also an echo chamber. Like I come in and I just say what I want to hear, and then I go back and listen to it, and it's just, it's just always validating. Which
now,
sort of
listen to it, is that something that's like recorded?
It's recorded, yeah. All these sessions are recorded, because when you're in an altered state, your ego will find every reason to not believe it. or even remember it. So usually people can remember.
It's like a dream almost.
Yes, because they can remember as soon as they come out. But then, like 2 days later, it's like they won't remember hardly any of it. So
2 hours later for some like me.
Right. So you need the recording there so that you can go back and revisit it.
Okay.
So the people who are worried that it's just them being self-validating, I have found, at least with my own clients, that that's totally not true. Some people come in, and what comes through in their session is exactly what they thought it would be. And usually that's because they're already self-aware enough that they know what to work on. They already know what to work on, they're just not doing it. And then what happens on the other side is I have clients come in and everything that comes through in their session is stuff they did not want to hear at all, and they have a lot of trouble listening to it because, you know, they don't want to get divorced, or they don't want to, you know, it's like the stuff that comes through in session is actually telling them that the life they're living is totally out of alignment, and can give them really specific advice on how to correct that course, but they are very resistant to that. So I have seen, just with the people I've worked with, that it's not this sort of echo chamber. You get both. You get people who really know what's going on with them already and just
either way,
needed
it's
to
a
hear
confirmation from
right,
both sides.
Right, exactly. What I have seen in my own practice is that people get exactly what they need. Is it what they want? Not always. Yeah. But is it something that if they follow it is going to help them grow and live a more fulfilling, more aligned life with who they really are? Absolutely.
What their desires are, but it always seems to be like a hurdle for them to get to it, and you giving almost that, them getting that answer from working with you is almost a sense of like, okay, I have to face this.
Well,
even though there's trepidation there.
A lot of people don't listen to the recording. They just won't. So it's funny to see, like, some of my clients come back and they're like, I listened to it 5 times, and every time I listened to it, I heard something new. So, like, they're always discovering things that are helpful to them. I had one client who didn't listen to her recording for 2 years, and then she did. And when she listened to it 2 years down the road, everything in it was helpful for her right there at that moment. Is that magic? No.
It's just the time.
It's what happened is that if you don't listen to it, you're not working on it. So the same problems had been sitting there for 2 years waiting to get worked on. So it's still really relevant, you know? So I always try to emphasize that with my clients. Like, if you're serious about this, you have to listen to it, because the ego will just ignore it. The ego likes to be the one that's right. So it's like, if you have an issue like needing to be right, whew, you know where your work lies.
That screams it out for others. That like outer body experience is that recording, you could say. Because they hear it and then they get to analyze their life, especially if it's like a long time. It's like, ooh, this is like, okay, that makes sense.
Well, and what is the real goal here, right? Like, it's well, you use the word deep a lot when we were kind of like getting ready to start today, but that's what it really is on the deepest level. What you're aiming for is to live in total alignment with your higher self, to embody the higher self, to actually be your higher self here in the world. So you're trying to take the higher self from like this out of body thing that's like, oh, it's bigger than me, that's like very esoteric, like I'm here on the ground, you know, like worried about what I'm eating for dinner, you know. But you're trying to like bring that down and through you.